Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff McConey, and with me in the booth is Kyle Ricky and Bonsa Tupa. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he is using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. For tonight's race, we will see the best of the best at eStafford Speedway for 80 laps. Only 26 will advance into the feature event tonight, with the rest going home without a chance to make the race here, the feature event. All Phases Renovations has generously stepped up to sponsor this event, and we want to thank them for helping us bring this racing to all of you here tonight, as well as a purse of $250 for the top 3 finishers. These drivers will be behind the wheel of a car awfully similar to the SK Modified, but with one key difference: the power under the hood. These Tour Modifieds look identical to the SKs and run on the same chassis and tires even. But when you take the hood pins out and take a look, you'll find another 215 horsepower, bringing these cars up to over 600 horsepower in total. That means you can expect to see these cars wanting to carry a lot of speed through the center of the corner and turning laps almost an entire second quicker here at Stafford Motor Speedway. First though, let's take a look at our top 5 moments from the first 6 weeks.
Bissett was holding his own in that 6th position, trying to take that 5th spot from Sturck, but as you see, Robert, holy cow, Timmy Catalano. Last week he flipped twice during the feature and heats and the Consis. It looks like he got hooked. I wonder if he got hooked with Ternulo there trying to avoid the wreck.
The 3 cars are out front by a $10 Uber ride, one could say. But up to
whoa, look out! Backstretch!
Cutoff. A big wreck. Oh my god.
That was the lead of the race. The Casa Grande goes from 1st to 6th. But right now, that's clogged up as Narducci looks inside of Hodgson. They make contact. Oh, Di Matteo gets turned. And a huge pileup. The leader of the race gets turned. And everybody piles in. Holy cow.
Narducci is going to dive to the bottom. Hodgson knows this, so he stays low. Oh, Narducci makes a look to the inside. Hodgson's watching his rear view mirror and just touches the back bumper of Di Matteo.
When do you make your move? Do you try to make the bottom shot move? Do you try to use the bumper? He's got a couple options. He's going to look to the inside of Blanchard right now to turn 1. They're side by side for the lead. Christopher pushes up a little bit. Blanchard tries to get the run off of turn 2. He still has the edge. The gap is about a half a car length. Blanchard tries to cut him off. They get together right now. Blanchard tries to save it, and somehow he does. Here comes Teddy Hodgson. They split Blanchard. They're 3 wide for the lead as they head to turn 1. It's Christopher versus Hodgson.
My goodness, how did he hold on to that car? Phenomenal work to drive that car.
Got trouble in the middle of the pack. We'll see if that brings out the yellow, but right now up front, Mike Christopher Jr. is trying to get the lead from Tommy. He pushes up off of turn 2. They're 3 wide for the lead. Look at the inside. It's Dylan Izzo. Where did he come from? From 3rd to 1st. He takes the lead. The battles for 2nd as they cross the line to take 2 to go.
White flag is in the air. Oh my goodness, Dylan Izzo could win it, but Troy Talman is certainly going to have something up his sleeve.
What's Troy Talman going to do? You know the bottom shot move in turn 3 is an option. We'll see what now. There's half a lap to go. Talman looks low. Izzo gives room. Talman gets bumped from behind by Christopher. They both push off. Christopher's got the lead. Christopher's going to win. Mike Christopher Jr. crosses the line and takes the win. He gave Talman a bump. Talman went up into Izzo, and Mike Jr. ends up in 1st. Holy smokes! Mike Christopher Jr. has been penalized for over-aggressive driving. The winner is going to go to Matthew Kimball.
These past few weeks have been absolutely wild at the eStafford Speedway, but Bonza, what are you anticipating to see here tonight that we should all be keeping an eye on?
Well, Jeff, a lot of those highlight clips came from when the SK Modifieds were racing in our Stafford iRacing series. But as you mentioned earlier, the Tour Modifieds have 200 more horsepower. They're a lot harder to handle. During the practice sessions, we've seen guys get sideways on throttle coming off of turns 2 and 4. It's like having an eggshell underneath the gas pedal and you don't want to break it. They've been really feathering it. The question is who will be able to adapt to the handling of the car as the temperature decreases and more rubber is being laid down the track. The one that can adapt to it best has a chance to win. And of course, a lot of people have told me Mike Christopher Jr. and Kyle Cisco, who advanced from the fan race, are 2 of the people to watch. So who can dethrone those 2? Because a lot of people have said that with Mike Christopher Jr. being the #1 iRacer in the Tour Modifieds and Kyle Cisco putting on quite the show on Wednesday, dominating the race, those 2 are going to be the ones to look for. Kyle, what are your general points for this race?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun night, Bonza. No doubt. Tour Modifieds here at Stafford. This is an event that folks have been looking forward to for quite some time. It's been an interesting practice session. Ryan Borges, thus far the fastest over Regan Parent, with qualifying coming up. But before we get into qualifying and setting the field for tonight's 80-lap event, we want to, for all of those unfamiliar with the Stafford Motor Speedway, we want to give you a detailed description of this famed Connecticut half mile.
Welcome to Stafford. This half-mile oval was built in 1870 for a different type of horsepower, horse racing, and then automobile racing took over after that. This place is not as flashy or fancy as the half miles that the Cup cars go to today, but this busy oval can still put on a fantastic show full of action for the fans and intense competition for the drivers. Uniquely banked, it poses a challenge for all comers. Turns 1 and 2 are banked at 9 degrees, where turns 3 and 4 are banked a little less at 7 degrees. The apron here at Stafford is known for being very wide but flat. Only the bravest of drivers with the utmost grip can make passes down there. Short tracks equal close racing and usually leads to shorter tempers. Keeping calm at Stafford rewards the drivers. It's like the old racing expression, to finish first, you must first finish. Corner exit tends to be the most challenging place on the track, where the fast lane sweeps right out of the corners towards that wall that awaits you. Stafford is an old, worn-out surface, so managing the tires is also key to finding victory lane here. All in all, Stafford poses a fun challenge to drivers, and it's always sure to put on a great show. So settle in, buckle up, it's bound to be a great race.
Now, Stafford Motor Speedway, obviously a lot of history behind it. Once a horse track, a dirt track, now paved. And when we look at the track facts, it may not be noticeable, but the two turns at Stafford had different bankings. Turns 1 and 2 are banked at 9 degrees. Turns 3 and 4 are banked at 7.5 degrees. So the way you approach each corner is a little bit different. Even the straightaways have a bit of a difference in distance. But it's a half-mile track in beautiful Stafford Springs, Connecticut. And a lot of drivers love this track because they call it a driver's track. And we've seen some legends race here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. You've seen guys like Ted Christopher, Mike Stefanik, Bob Potter, Bugsy Stevens, Richie Evans. All these drivers who are legendary in the modified division and beyond have all raced and been very successful at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
It's a very difficult track to get around at times, but somebody making it look easy, it was Matt Vassar, but now Andy Seiss seems to be up there at the top with an 18.523. Let's see what Tyler Leary's able to do, though. He's going deep into turn 1, drifts it up a little bit. Great exit on the corner, though. Like we talked about earlier, it's very difficult to get off the corner here for these drivers. And this setup that they have this week, it's like driving with an egg underneath the gas pedal. RJ Serdell gets high up in the corner. The key here is getting a little bit of track underneath the tire, where you move up the track a little bit, but not too much. You don't want to drift too high and kill your run off the corner here.
Fast lap times already. 18.448 by Regan Parent. Regan obviously won the late model race last week. He's showing a lot of speed. Mason Tessier, who came from the Wednesday race earlier this week, he's second fastest. Tyler Wood also advancing from Wednesday. Andy Seiss, great run so far in fourth spot. We saw him have a little bit of trouble in practice, like a lot of these other guys, being unstable off the corner. The track temperature has decreased over 10 degrees since we started the session, and that's made a difference so far in that these cars are a lot more grippier. You see them being more stable coming off the corners, and with more rubber being laid down, they're laying down fast laps. Ryan Borges, you're looking at the screen, he obviously paced the practice session. Kyle Souza was also pretty fast for the top 15 lap time in practice. So we just gotta see who can put down the fastest lap. The hot laps are so important because track position is critical with these setups being the same, and you just don't want to get caught in someone else's mess.
Guys, that has happened a lot here in these heat races. You want to be up on that front row, no doubt, as we have seen a lot of trouble these last couple of weeks in qualifying heat races and in the Consi. So the further up you qualify, the further you can start in these heat races, the better shot you have at making the 80-lap feature later tonight. How about Kyle Souza? lays down a heck of a lap, goes to the top of the standings. Won 2 weeks ago, and I believe finished second last week. So not bad for the media mogul turned iRacer here these last couple of weeks at Stafford.
Media man Kyle Souza sits in second on the board now third on the board behind Ryan Borges and Mikey Flynn. That's a fantastic run for the Flynn machine. Hasn't had too many great lucky nights out here. He's had a lot of very bad luck involved in some wrecks, but to qualify second, that'll put him in a great position for these heat races coming up. But Mike Christopher Jr. and Brian Narducci are now on the track. Those guys are ranked 1 and 2 in the world for the tour mods here on iRacing. But Mike Christopher Jr., he's ranked 5th on the standings right now, and 18,464 puts him towards the back here, or towards the back of the top 5, I should say, as we get ready for heat race number 1.
Yeah, looking at the starting lineup for heat race number 1, Ryan Borges will start on the pole, Reagan Parent in second, Jacob Perry will start in third, Steve Daddio will start in fourth, Bryce in fifth, Cassandra Cole in sixth, Brian Narducci in seventh, Andrew Moeller in eighth, Tony Membrino starts off in ninth, George Bissett Jr. in 10th, Dan Weston 11th, Michael Bennett in 12th, Larry Westgate 13th, Corey Casagrande starts in the 14th position, Dalton McCarthy 15th, and Justin Bren, the caboose of this starting grid, in the 16th position.
Lined up and ready to go, waiting on only Jacob Perry. Now he appears on the starting grid, so it looks like all 16 drivers ready to rock for this first 10-lap qualifying event. Again, Ryan Borges with that fast time a few moments ago, scheduled to start on the pole here. We should mention there are some special paint schemes here tonight as well. Dan Butler running a 1980s Mike McLaughlin paint scheme. Teddy Hodgson running the paint scheme that his dad Ted ran back in the 1980s as well. Troy Tallman running a hillbilly racing scheme from years gone by. So drivers and teams really getting into it here tonight. Again, sponsored by All Phases Renovations. Tonight's sponsor for the Tour Type Modifieds as we get set for qualifying heat number 1. We'll get the one to go signal this time by, Jeff.
Ryan Borges leads the way in that 24 machine, but Reagan Parent on the outside is going to try and make that work. But that's a really tall order to make the outside line at Stafford work. You don't hear it going too well too often, except for somebody by the name of Brian Narducci, who's starting all the way back in 7th. Remember, only the top 5 advance, so right now he needs to make up some positions if he's going to make the race without having to worry about the Consi. That's quite a story here for Brian Narducci to not be starting really towards the front. That's probably the first time we've had that. They're getting ready for the green flag.
And if there's one guy that can make his way through the field really quick, it is Brian Narducci. Here they come off a turn 4. The green flag goes up in the air, and we are underway at the Stafford Speedway for heat number 1. A great start on the outside for Reagan Parent, but Borges drives it in deep into the corner. They're side by side as they head off a turn 2. Borges has the advantage.
Yeah, Jacob Perry there in 3rd, then Daddio in 4th, but it's Borges with the advantage by a car length, but only for a moment. Here they come, side by side. Parent trying to build up a run now as they hit the front straightaway, race back to turn 1. Borges leads the first lap.
Battle for the 3rd spot right now as you're riding on board with Borges. We'll see if he can catch back up to the leader, on board with Parent catching up to Borges. Battle for 3rd spot right now is between Jacob Perry and Steve Daddio. They're side by side as they cross the line. Behind them in the final transfer spot is Andy Sice. Contact between Daddio and Perry. They try to save it, Sice in the grass, and somehow they all straighten it out off of turn 2.
Move by Cassandra Cole, bottom of the racetrack, pulls up alongside for a spot now inside of the top 5, running the 45 car, goes to the bottom. She's in a side-by-side battle for that position as she goes way wide in turn 2. Going to give up a spot, maybe 2, as they hit the back straightaway with 3 laps already complete in this heat race.
And
There goes the 45.
Yeah, Cassandra Cole spins out in turn 3. She got tapped in the left rear. No yellow, though, so we just keep on going. Now the caution comes out for the first time in this heat race as Cassandra Cole got turned in turn 3.
There were multiple single car spins there, but that all started when Cassandra Cole caught a tap to the rear bumper going into turn 3. Looks like George Bissett Jr. might have been the one to give it. They're racing earlier, and we're going back to the replay right now.
Bottling up into turn 3, and Bissett just gets into Cassandra, and then a secondary hit sends Bissett into the air. We'll go on board with George Bissett Jr. here in a moment. Get it from his point of view as he drives up the back straightaway. Again, just behind Cassandra Cole.
Yeah, Cassandra drove it in deep into turn 1. That's why she washed up and lost those positions. It's like George Bissett might have slid up a bit into her left rear. And then he got hit again. He tried to save it. And I think Michael Bennett also got a piece of that. And George Bissett Jr. has been given an EOL penalty. Who'll be going to the back of the longest line.
Looking like it's going to be a green-white checkered here for these drivers. The people sitting on the outside looking in, Dan Wesson and Andy Seiss, Andrew Muller looking in as well, and Corey Casagrande. Stephen Daddio, Brian Narducci, Jacob Perry, Reagan Perrin, and Ryan Borges are all locked in. Those are your top 5. Only 5 will advance from each heat. There's going to be 3 heat races tonight, meaning we're going to be taking more from each Consi, but when you lose an entire heat race there, you can expect to see the action pick up. So just you wait, boys. It's going to be a crazy green-white checkered here, I think.
Outside looking in right now, Dan Weston, Andy Seiss, Andrew Moeller, Corey Casagrande, Dalton McCarthy, just some of the drivers not in the top 5. Cassandra Cole was on pit road. She rejoins the field. Larry Westgate remains on pit road. Justin Bren had issues on lap number 1, being scored 6 laps down, as it looks like we'll have at least one more pace lap before we go back under the green.
Now, Brian Narducci was able to make his way to the top 5. He's in a good spot right now, but he'll be on the outside of row number 2. And in the past, we've seen the guy or gal on the outside of row number 2 kind of get in a tough situation because there's not a ton of grip on that outside line right now. That groove has not been rubbered in much. It's been mostly at the bottom. So the question is, can Narducci get in line? Can he get in front of Steve Daddio, who runs in 5th? Because if he gets stuck on that outside line, he could be stuck.
We have a couple cars together on the back straightaway under caution right now, so that'll hold us up for another lap or so. Looked like Membrino might have been in that scuffle in car number 44. So we'll see if everybody can get straightened out.
Not something you want to hear is they're wrecking under caution, but getting up back towards the front, looks like they're going to get doubled up. The lights on the pace truck tonight are out. Ryan Borges in first, Reagan Parent second, Jacob Perry sits in third. Narducci has fought his way from 7th to 4th. Stephen Daddio is up to 5th, but let's take a look at Dan Wesson. Started in 11th, he's all the way up to 6th right now. He's one of our biggest movers of the night. He just needs one more spot, though, to be locked in. Let's see if he or Andy Seiss can make it into this feature event without having to worry about the Consi. The green flag comes out. Ryan Borges gets a great jump, and it's a side-by-side battle for 6th place.
Car goes around in the back as we continue under the green. Borges, Parent, Perry, Narducci up in the top 4 now. Daddio is 5th. Coming to the white flag this time, and the race is on for the lead as Parent steps out of line, goes to the bottom to the inside of Borges. Top spot, wrecking for 5th further back as they get the white flag.
Yeah, Perrin did a good job peeking his nose in turn 3. He's going to come out with the lead off of 2. Borges gets into the right rear of Perrin a little bit, but they straighten it out off the corner. Battle for the 3rd spot. Jacob Perry takes it over Narducci as they head to 3 and 4. Narducci with a dive bomb move under Perry. It's going to work as the Reagan Parent will cross the line and win the heat. Narducci spins, but he's in. Parent, Borges, Perry, Narducci, and I believe Dan Weston all advance to the heat race. Or to the
We
race.
might see some bad blood there a little later on because Jacob Perry showed his displeasure, it looked like, with Brian Narducci, sent him around, and now Brian Narducci not too happy in the chat, but getting ready for heat race number 2 here. Mikey Flynn on the pole, Mike Christopher Jr. starts 2nd, Ryan Blanchard in 3rd, Peter Bennett 4th, Teddy Hodgson 5th, the Slim Reaper, Matt Vassar in 6th, Devin Jensick in 7th, Salacardi starts 8th, Tyler Chadwick in 9th, Travis Haidar in 10th, Marcello Refrano 11th, Kevin Crosby 12th, RJ Surdell 13th, Ethan DeRocher starts 14th, Stephen Massey starts 15th, and Matt Swanson rounding out the field in 16th.
Should be fun to watch Old Blue come from the back of the pack in the 16th spot, struggling in qualifying a bit ago. So Matt has his work cut out for him, having to gain 11 spots here if he wants the shot at the 80-lap feature later tonight through this heat race anyway. Obviously, there will be an LCQ later this evening. Again, all this sponsored by All Phases Renovations, tonight's proud sponsor of the Tour Type Modified 80-lap event. Posted purse of $250 on the line, $150 for first. Second will receive $75. Third, $25. They are located in southeastern Massachusetts. Be sure to give Larry a call for all your outdoor construction needs like patios, pool renovations, outdoor bars and kitchens, decks, and more. Visit them on Facebook or call them at 508-332-6316.
Now, as the field rolls off, one guy who's in need of change in their luck is Mikey Flynn. And this could be his chance. He's starting on the pole for the second heat race, and he's had a lot of issues in previous heat races and Consolations, and a lot of times has a hard time trying to make it to the feature. So this could be the night that Mikey Flynn gets through this heat race without any issue and find his way into the feature. But you got Mike Christopher Jr. on the outside, and obviously Mike, one of the fastest you'll see in the modifieds in iRacing, so you wonder if he's going to try and contest that outside line and get past Flynn as they get the green flag in the lap.
Well, we'll have to wait and see on that, but Mikey Flynn, I remember Nicole LaRose, co-worker of all of us here at Stafford Motor Speedway. You've probably seen her over on Facebook. She does a lot of driver interviews, post-race, pre-race, does a fantastic job with them. A couple weeks ago, she mentioned every time Jeff mentions Mikey Flynn, everyone takes a drink, and we all said that people would not make it to the end of the night. We'll see if that's the case here. If Mikey Flynn comes home the winner of this heat race like he's hoping, gets a good jump at the start. Mike Christopher Jr. unfortunately does not. That opens the door for Ryan Blanchard to stick his nose in down on the bottom. Flynn gets a little tight. Blanchard, though, with a great run, gets a good look down the backstretch, but thinks better of it. Flynn to the lead. Blanchard in second. Mike Christopher Jr. goes around right now.
Had a little help. It looked like might have been from either Hodgson or Vassar over in turn number 4. Sent Christopher around, and we'll continue under the green flag, and no doubt he will have to head to the Consolation event here with just 8 laps to go when they hit the line. Flynn, Blanchard, now Hodgson third, Bennett fourth, and Matt Vassar rounding out the top 5 and on the bubble as they fan out behind him.
Yeah, Vassar's got pressure from behind with Devin Jensick. One car goes wide, and they're 3 wide off of turn 2. A little bit of contact, but they keep it going. Right now, that 5th spot does go to Matt Vassar, but as I mentioned, that 23 car Jensick is right behind him.
Quite an event here going on. A lot of cars beating and banging for position. The top 5, though, are the ones that advance. Matt Vassar is currently locked in. Devin Jensick, though, don't count him out as he gets into the wall off turn 2. He's driving the wheels off that car to try and make it into the feature event without having to worry about the Consi. Someone who's not doing too much worrying right now, though, well, as I say that, Ryan Blanchard takes a look at the bottom. Now there's a side-by-side battle for the lead. Blanchard looks low. Flynn has the speed on the outside. They're side-by-side going into turn 3 still. Flynn checks up, gives it to Blanchard, and now they are back in line.
Blanchard with the new race leader with now 5 laps to go halfway through this qualifying event. Flynn in second, Teddy Hodgson closing the gap in that retro paint scheme in third, and then Peter Bennett and Matt Vassar as they go on board with Hodgson as they make their way into turn number 3. He is currently in third, all over the back bumper of Mikey Flynn as they hit turn number 1 with 4 to go.
This is some of the best racing we've seen in heat races for the lead. Usually they take it easy, but in the first heat race and in this one, we've seen a battle for the lead. Blanchard does start to pull away a little bit, though, from Mikey Flynn. Blanchard, he's been excited about the Tour Modifieds. He says that's his staple. That's where he does his performances best. And right now he's showing it, pulling away slowly. Teddy Hodgson right on the back bumper of Flynn, though, in that second position battle.
2 very strong drivers, never afraid to use the chrome horn, is the Mikey Flynn and Teddy Hodgson duo. But right now they're playing nice. They both know they're locked in. Just a couple laps remaining here, 2 to go, and they will both be locked into the feature. No need to do anything crazy. The only person in a position to do something like that is Devin Jensick, who's about 2 car lengths behind Matt Vassar. That's the final transfer spot here. Vassar has it, but Jensick wants it.
The white flag, 1 to go. Final time around the Stafford half mile in this qualifying event. Blanchard is the leader. Flynn there in second. Then the battle for third. Couple of orange cars and Teddy Hodgson and Peter Bennett. Then that battle for fifth. A bit further back, led by Matt Vassar as we follow the leaders off of turn number 4. Checkered flag, and Ryan Blanchard will win qualifying race number 2 over Mikey Flynn, Hodgson, Bennett, Matt Vassar. Rounding out the top 5, Devin Jensick, along with Matt Swanson, who did a nice job coming through the field, making it up to 7th, but will have to go to the Consi.
Yeah, Jensic drove it in deep into turn 3 on the last lap, but he pushed up just a bit too much and couldn't get to the back bumper of Matt Vassar. So he'll have to try it again, the consolation race. But right now we have our final heat race. Kyle Souza was starting to pole for this one. Mason Tessier starts in second. Troy Talman in third. Tyler Wood fourth. Kyle Johnson starts in fifth. Joseph Eilert in sixth. Pete Thicket in seventh. Al Saunders eighth. Jonathan Pulio in ninth. Glenn Reen in 10th. Dan Butler 11th. Mark Alkus in 12th. Tyler Leary starts 13th. Cliff Saunders starts 14th. And then Mark Berg, I believe, has been having some issues getting into the server, so I'm not quite sure if he made it.
Well, we'll see if he joins the lineup here in a moment. A beautiful night, as you can see there, a beautiful afternoon at the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway. 77 degrees air temperature. That means we have a track temp of about 91 degrees, 56% humidity. Let's talk about the real world weather for a moment here in Connecticut. If we were to be racing tonight, it probably would not be happening because it has been raining most of the afternoon. The highs today were only in the low 50s, and there's snow in the forecast later on this evening. Hard to believe. So, yeah, it wouldn't be very comfortable if we were to even try racing tonight at the real life Stafford. So we'll take the virtual world anytime as far as the weather is concerned here this evening.
Right now for this race, media man Kyle Souza will start on the pole, hoping he can stay in that top 5. Remember, this is the last of the heat races we're going to run tonight. The next event is going to be the Consi, where we will have 5 advanced from each. It's going to be a fantastic race here tonight. Everybody wants to make sure they don't have to worry about the Consi. We've seen a lot of hard battling for the 5th place spot, but this setup that these drivers have in the tour mods with so much power and a pretty warm track, you have to be careful here. This is really turning into a driver's track more so than ever. We'll see who's strong and who's not. I think someone to keep an eye on is the 48 machine of Glenn Reen. He's always quick. He's not afraid to go through the grass. We call that little area in turn 1 Reen Acres. Let's see if he needs to use it here tonight to work his way starting from 10th up the field to get a top 5 in this heat race.
He texted me a bit ago. He said, "Are you ready for Reen Acres tonight?" Hopefully he doesn't have to use it, at least not in this qualifying event as we are set to go green here. Kyle Souza has been a man on a mission the last 2 weeks, but those are in stock cars. Excited to see how he does here in the modified as Mason Tessier gets a bit of a jump in the outside lane. Souza on the bottom as they race back to turn number 1. Tallman is there in 3rd, Wood in 4th, and Kyle Johnson rounding out the top 5.
Souza drove it in deep into turn 3. Souza washes up the track, but he still comes out with the lead. The battles for the 2nd spot between Troy Talman and the 3rd place car, Mason Tessier. A lot of cars washing up the track in turn 1, but they're trying to diamond the corner as Talman gets a little bit loose off of turn 2. Sticks it in deep into 3, washes up and gets into Tessier as they battle off of turn 4.
Sitting just outside the top 5 is Joseph Eilert. He's racing from the Spark VR Center. That 36 takes it 3 wide up the middle. There he goes. He makes it work, comes out there. What a move. That was phenomenal. Now he's trying to race his way into the top 5. Oh, he's a man on a mission. Don't fall asleep on that 36 car. He's got places to be and awfully quick.
Right now in the 6th spot, just outside of the top 5. He is in a battle with Julio for that position as they make their way off of turn number 2. Mason Tessier right now on the bubble. Now he gets the 4th spot away from Pete Thicket, so put Thicket on the bubble as they come down to the stripe to complete lap number 4. 6 laps to go in this qualifying heat race.
Whoa, Thicket drives in super deep into turn number 1, pushes Tessier up the track, and then gets into Eilert. He saves it though. Eilert now moves up. Tessier and a big dive bomb move by Glenn Reen behind them. Again, somehow they get away without much contact. Saunders gets loose off of turn 4. Al Saunders, that is, and Glenn Reen's going to try and pounce on the outside. But Eilert moves up to 4th. Tessier in 5th. Reen gets wide off of turn 2 and gets put 3 wide. He tries to save it again as they head to turn 3.
Can you believe this? Glenn Reen now the man on the mission. He has to hold on to the car. Man, he was wheeling that thing like crazy, but he's lost a lot of ground, put him back to 9th. He's in a bit of trouble. Now in the transfer spot, though, is Mason Tessier. He's racing with Joseph Eiler, gives him a shot to the back bumper. Up towards the front, Kyle Souza, he has taken that rearview mirror right out of the car. Absolutely phenomenal lead for him, 1.1 seconds over Troy Talman in second. Kyle Souza, he's just riding it out for the next 3 laps.
Had no idea a couple of weeks ago how good Kyle was in iRacing. Obviously, a longtime media member up here in the Northeast, works from some of the short tracks behind the scenes as well. And right now, leading the way after winning the Street Stock race 2 weeks ago, finished in second in the late model race last week, and now about to win his qualifying event here in a Tour Type Modified. Troy Tallman closing from second. On the bubble is Joseph Eilart. He's trying to fend off Al Saunders and Jonathan Pulio.
Yeah, Tessier actually just got past Eilert to move up to fourth. Eilert does have a lot of space, though, between him and now Pulio, who just got past Al Saunders as they come down to the checkered flag. Souza's on a roll, and it continues after this heat race. He'll take the final heat. Troy Talman second, Kyle Johnson third, Mason Tessier fourth, and Joseph Eilert in fifth. They will move on to the feature.
Missing the show, Jonathan Pulio, Al Saunders, Pete Thickett, Cliff Saunders, Mark Alkis, Tyler Leary, Dan Butler, Glenn Reen, Tyler Wood, all starting that event and not finishing among the top 5, having to go one of 2 consolation events, which is coming up next.
For consolation event, a number 1, Andy Seiss in the 02. Actually, it's got 70 on the side of that car stamped on it. Starts on in first. Jonathan Pulio starts second. Matt Swanson in third. Cassandra Cole starts fourth. Pete Thickett is slated to take the grid in fifth. Travis Hydar in sixth. George Brissett Jr. in 7th, Mark Alkis in 8th, Ethan DeRocher in 9th, Stephen Daddio in 10th, Glenn Reen, the man trying to make something happen, starts 11th. He needs to make it up to the top 5, as does RJ Serdell, Tony Membrino, Tyler Wood back in 14th, Marcello Rafrano in 15th, and Justin Bren in 16th. All of those drivers trying to make it into the top 5. Only 5 of them are going to advance here. It's going to be a 25-car field tonight.
Being led by a 2-time Southern Modified champion and Andy Seiss, going to lead to the green flag. Jonathan Pulio, of course, a modified regular at Stafford. Matt Swanson driving Old Blue on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Cassandra Cole, an SK Light modified regular at the Stafford Motor Speedway. So a lot of veteran modified drivers up here in the first couple of rows. Let's see how they fare here. Got some street stockers in the back or just outside of the top 5, and Travis Hydar, George Brissett Jr. making his climb to the SK Lights for 2020, running in the 7th spot. Glenn Reen, an SK regular. So this is going to be a fun heat race, Bonza, or a consolation event. Only the top 5 get in.
Yeah, Travis Hydar in the 6th spot. You mentioned street stock driver, but he has been very fast in the modifieds. He's showed a lot of speed in the SK modified races, including getting a podium. Now he's in the tour mods. He wasn't quite sure how the car was going to handle, but after some practice, he got back to me and said, we'll be fine. So he's feeling pretty confident. Looking to get into that top 5, though. Watch Cassandra Cole in that 4th position. We'll see if she can get back in line in front of Pete Thickett before falling out of the transfer spot. Pace car pulls off, though. The green flag does decide when these guys go in the original beginning of the race. It is in the air and we're underway. Seiss gets the jump as the field heads to turn number 1.
I don't know if Glenn Reen was in view back there, but he was pushing the field. But a caution flag out right away. Everyone was getting checked up on the start, but Pulio was involved. Let's take a look at that replay to see what happened. Everyone was bumping bumpers at the start.
I think that started with Pete Thickett. I believe he was the one in turn 1 that started it. He got into the back of a car. He was starting in the 5th spot, and he got back into the back of the car starting in 3rd, and that's what got started. And Cassandra Cole, Pulio, and Serdell were all victims of that one.
4 cars involved. We'll see if we can get a replay in a moment on the start of LCQ number 1 here tonight. And you see Pulio going around there. We'll get a better look here in just a moment. Cassandra Cole just out of frame. Also had nowhere to go. Look at it from the drone cam.
Watch Pete Thickett, the 3rd car on the inside. I believe he gets into the back of Swanson.
Yeah, pushes Swanson and pushes Swanson up the track into the other cars. That's what caused that big old wreck. And now our top 5 looks a little bit different. Andy Seiss stays in 1st, Matt Swanson in 2nd, Pete Thickett now in 3rd, George Brissett Jr. in 4th, Travis Hydar in 5th, Sitting in 6th, 1 spot outside, up 5 spots already is Glenn Reen. Ethan DeRocher now up 2 spots to 7th, Mark Alkus in 8th. Cassandra Cole on pit road but scored in 9th. Tony Membrino in 10th, Stephen Daddio 11th. Marcello Rafrano in 12th, Justin Brennan 13th, Jonathan Pulio 14th, and now both 1 lap down and out of this race, Tyler Wood and RJ Surdell.
Continuing under the caution flag here, take another lap or so to get everybody lined up in the proper restart order. Again, caution laps will count here in the Consolation event, along with the heat races, but we will not end under caution. We will try for green-white checkers if it comes to that. Again, all of tonight's action brought to you by All Phases Renovations, the official sponsor of tonight's race program. $250 will go to the winner, or make that $150 will go to the winner, $250 total. 150 for first, 75 for second, 25 for third in tonight's 80-lap feature event. They are, of course, located in southeastern Massachusetts. Give Larry a call for all your outdoor construction needs. That includes patios, pool renovations, outdoor bars and kitchens, decks, and more. Visit their Facebook page or give them a call at 508-332-6316. Looks like we're set to go back to racing.
Green flag goes in the air. Andy Sice gets the jump again. Some wheel spin mid-pack, but everyone keeps it straight. Pete Thicket got sent to the back of the line because of the contact that caused the caution. And the caution comes back out again for a crash. Tony Membrino, Marcello Rafrano, John Pulio, and Pete Thicket all involved in the scrum in turn 1.
We'll get a look at the replay.
Towards the back of the pack. Oh no, just a little bit of wheel spin on the start, it looks like. Going up and over end was that 26 car. That's probably going to end the night there for him. But now, up 1 more spot, Glenn Reen from 11th to 5th. I know we're talking about him a lot. 11th to 5th, though, in just really 2 turns under green flag. That's awfully impressive, and if he can race his way up through the field like he's doing in this Consi event here tonight, because remember, he's going to start closer to the back like anyone with this Consi does. If he can race his way through the field during the feature event, that's going to be very impressive if he makes it.
And we should mention, Jeff, there are no resets in these races. So I know when we watch a race on, say, a Sunday with all the Cup guys or a Saturday night with the Xfinity guys and the truck guys, they get some races 1 or 2 resets. That is not the case, or what they call a quick fix. That's not the case, and that's why the guys and the girls that are involved in early race incidents fall out of the event, like Cassandra Cole, who is now out on pit road, RJ Surdell, Tony Membrino, all multiple laps down because there's no reset tonight.
Yeah, Jonathan Pulio's car was smoking pretty badly. He lost the engine on that one after getting slammed in turn 1, so he's done. That's just how it is with no resets. There's not really margin for error, and that's why track position matters so much, because the further you are from the front, the lesser chance of you getting caught in someone else's mess. Andy Sice is the leader right now, Matt Swanson in 2nd, George Bissett Jr. in 3rd, Travis Hyde in 4th, Glenn Reen charging up to 5th, Mark Alkus outside looking in 6th, Steve Daddio in 7th, Ethan DeRocher in 8th, Justin Brenn, who was part of the start of that last accident but saved the car after getting hit in the right rear, he runs in 9th. Jonathan Pulio is still on the track despite his car smoking heavily. I don't know how much longer that car is going to last, but when a car is smoking like that, you know the race is pretty much over. The rest of the cars, RJ Surdell in 11th, Cassandra Cole, Pete Thicket, and Tony Membrino are all in the pits.
Just saw a message in the chat from Surdell saying, well, time to go grab a drink at the Double Hook Lounge. Because he fell out of this event well in the first incident. We're currently 14th right now, several laps down. So see if we double them up. It looks like it's going to be a green-white checker finish here in Consolation event number 1. And in the top 5 spots, Andy Sice, Matt Swanson, George Bissett Jr., Travis Hydar, and Glenn Reen. Mark Alkus, the first driver outside looking in. He's made the feature the last 2 weeks, finishing 17th 2 weeks ago in the street stocks, and 19th last week in the late model.
This is going to be a single file restart now from race control to try and clean it up, get these last 3 laps done under green flag conditions. Now the transfer spot is Glenn Reen, Mark Alkus right behind. They are getting ready to take the green flag next time around. These drivers are now excited to get back racing here and end this race under green.
Now, we've seen a lot of aggressive racing within the top 5. So you wonder with Glenn Reen in 5th, is he going to try and settle in that 5th spot, or is he going to go as hard as possible to try and get past Haidar and Bassett and find a bigger cushion?
It's Glenn Reen. You know the answer as well as I do, Bonson and Kyle.
Always need some padding, especially when you're on the bubble. And Glenn Reen would no doubt rather be in 4th, 3rd, 2nd, or 1st right now than in the position that he's in. But at least he is in. And the top 5, in fact, are able to break away a bit on the restart over Mark Alkus, who's in the 6th position as they race back to turn 2. Seiss, the leader, by a car length over Old Blue in the 2nd spot, and Matt Swanson, and a bit of a gap back to 3rd, and that's where we find George Bassett Jr. coming to the white flag.
Glenn Reen has a lot of room to work with. Stephen Daddio and Mark Alkus were side by side for 6th, and that gave Glenn Reen at least a second of a cushion. 3rd, 4th, and 5th nose to tail, but with a half a lap to go, the top 5 are in, so they don't have to race too hard. Andy Seiss coming out of turn number 4. He's going to take the first consolation race. Matt Swanson will finish 2nd. George Bassett Jr., Travis Haidar, and Glenn Reen all will move on to the feature.
That means some of the names going home. Stephen Daddio, who raced well last week and raced his way in from Wednesday. Ethan DeRocher, Justin Bren, and some of the other big names. Jonathan Pulio, RJ Serdell. Going home, Tony Membrino, Marcello Rafrano. Man, big names that are getting sent home that are not going to be in this final event here tonight. But getting ready to take the grid for Consi event number 2, our last one, the top 5 advancing. It's going to be Devin Jensick on the pole. Corey Casagrande, he is... I think that car might be cursed, unfortunately. Al Saunders in 3rd, Tyler Chadwick 4th, Andrew Muller in 5th, Cliff Saunders starts 6th, Stephen Massey in 7th, Michael Bennett in 8th, Tyler Leary starts 9th, Mike Christopher Jr. starts 10th in Consi number 2, Dalton McCarthy 11th, Dan Butler 12th, Kevin Crosby 13th, Larry Westgate in 14th, Salik Hardy 15th, and Mark Burke slated to take the grid in 16th, but I don't think Mark Burke and Salicardi are going to be taking the field here tonight.
Mentioned Corey Casagrande finishing 24th in last week's late model event. Explain the curse. Why do you think Corey Casagrande's car is cursed?
Well,
Jeff?
we saw in the a lot of bad luck week in and week out, it seems. Hitting upside down cars and...
He has.
Yeah, just very unfortunate luck here when it comes to consolation events.
Finished his only other finish. Let's see, he's made 2 of the features thus far. 24th last week and then 15th way back on April 3rd in an SK Modified. So hopefully the curse is not at virtual Stafford Motor Speedway with him tonight. Hopefully he's able to make his way in good position right now in 2nd, but a lot of big names wanting to race their way in, including Mike Christopher Jr., Tyler Leary, another driver. Speaking of a driver that I think is cursed, he has had a tough time making a feature here and getting out of these heat races and LCQ. So hopefully maybe we'll get to see Tyler Leary race his way in tonight as well. We're set to go green, Bonza.
Yeah, and talking about Corey Casagrande, you talk about the one SK Modified race he competed in. I asked him what wreck he was involved in. He said all of them. So that just explains his luck even when he makes the race. But Mike Christopher Jr. is going to be someone to watch for in that outside road number 5. Can he make his way to the top 5 in just 10 laps? Pace car pulls off. Devin Jensick will lead him down to the green flag. It's in the air, and he gets a big jump over Corey Casagrande. Al Saunders might be looking inside of Corey for that 3rd spot as they head to 1.
Jensick the leader. Casagrande falls back a bit. Car breaks loose further back. We stay green. Saunders up to 2nd. Casagrande in 3rd. To Saunders outside. Side by side for 2nd. Then Moeller and Chadwick side by side for position number 5. Tyler Chadwick, one of the drivers that transferred from Wednesday night's Horton Group fan race. He's a modified regular, though, in Connecticut in Waterford, and right now trying to race his way into tonight's 80-lap feature.
Andrew Moeller in that 35 car, a throwback to his father. Mike Moeller's riding the modified. He pushes up to the car in this outside. Now he's got the 10 car to the inside, Stephen Massey, and he pushes Moeller up the track. Massey's going to end up going up to 4th. Moeller now back in the 5th spot on the bubble.
Bennett out of shape further back.
A little bit further back is Mike Christopher Jr. now sitting in 8th. Manages to avoid a wreck, but Tyler Leary wrapped up in it. Going through Reen Acres is Mike Christopher Jr. to dodge that wreck. Oh my goodness, I saw a car flipping down the front stretch. That was a very close call for Mike Christopher Jr., who's going from really the middle of the pack trying to get up to the top 5. I hope we can get an in-car view for Mike Christopher Jr. as well as a overhead view of that wreck.
The car upside down was Tyler Chadwick. He took a wild ride in turn number 1 and is now in the pits. But yes, Christopher did go through the grass. The first car that went around, I believe, was Stephen Massey in the 10 car. I saw him go around off of turn number 4. And Chadwick ramped off another car, ended up going over. So we'll try and get a replay here. The caution is out with 6 laps to go.
On board with Mike Christopher Jr. We'll get a better look at it here in just a moment from Christopher, who's right now in position number 5. And the final driver to transfer in, Cliff Saunders, the first driver outside looking in. On board with Mike Christopher Jr. Let's see what he saw ahead of him. They really stacked up off turn 4.
Yeah, he hangs a hard left. Oh my gosh, that's so close.
I don't know how he made that happen, but he was very, very lucky to get through it. You can't really see too much out of the front of these modifieds. He's caught a glimpse of a wreck ahead. Even if he stood on the brakes, it still wasn't enough time to avoid hitting Tyler Leary. Unfortunately, gets into the back of him, and he just throws that wheel to the left, cuts it through Reen Acres, and takes the pit exit access road there to get back on track. Keeps that car clean. Now he's up to 5th place, and he's got a real chance at making the feature event tonight.
Looks like we're going to have about a 2-lap shootout when we go back to green. 4 to go now. Not sure if we're going this time or not. Doesn't look like it, as Devin Jensick leads over Al Saunders, Corey Casagrande, Andrew Moeller, Mike Christopher now into the top 5. We mentioned a moment ago Tyler Chadwick, who was involved in that last wreck, transferred into tonight's race program. We actually have been holding the last several weeks prelim nights for race fans that aren't regular competitors at the Stafford Motor Speedway in the real world. Sponsored by Horton Group this past Wednesday. We were able to broadcast it for the first time. Kyle Sisko was able to advance into tonight's race program through that race, along with Tyler Chadwick, Tyler Wood, Mason Tessier, and Steven Daddio for a second consecutive week. So want to thank all the folks from the Horton Group, including Kenny Horton, who has been a longtime SK driver at the Stafford Motor Speedway, for sponsoring Wednesday night's prelim night, allowing 5 more participants into the field here this evening.
The last couple of weeks, we've seen the winner of the Friday feature come from the Wednesday feature. So we've seen Reagan Perrin, who transferred from Wednesday last week, end up winning the late models, and then Kyle Sues in the street stocks. He won on the Wednesday of that week to advance on Friday. And we saw Matthew Kimball in SK Modifieds a couple weeks earlier, advancing from Wednesday's feature all the way to Friday. And despite the black flag with Mike Christopher Jr., Kimball did come out on top. So 3 of the 6 races have been won by someone who has transferred from a Wednesday event.
Lined up, ready to go. 2 laps to settle it. The final 5 spots, we think, 5 or 6. It was 6 the other night in the second consolation event, so we'll check with race control here in a moment. But it's Devin Jensick. We know he's in, along with Al Saunders, Corey Casagrande, Andrew Moeller. Front 2 rows as we're back underway, and it's Jensick with the jump to turn 2.
Corey Casagrande takes the second spot. Oh, he gets loose off of turn 2, and they're 3 wide for second. Christopher Jr. on the inside of Corey Casagrande. Al Saunders on the outside. Casagrande gets bumped from behind by Moeller. That's the second time Moeller's bumped someone out of the way. Casagrande goes spinning as the battle continues for second in turn 1 with 1 to go.
Into the final lap, Devin Jensick leads up the back straightaway. Corey Casagrande once again falls victim to a late race incident in a consolation event, as Devin Jensick comes off of turn number 4 and will win the final consolation event of the evening over Mike Christopher Jr. Great run for him over Al Saunders, Cliff Saunders, Dan Butler, the top 5. We know they are in. And then Dalton McCarthy, Michael Bennett, the first couple of guys out, along with Tyler Leary, Kevin Crosby, Andrew Moeller, Larry Westgate, Stephen Massey, and Tyler Chadwick.
Man, Michael Bennett dove it deep in the turn 3 underneath Butler to go for that 5th spot. The 2 made contact, but Bennett got loose and almost spun the car out. He saved it, but he didn't get that 5th spot. That went to Dan Butler.
Right now, these drivers have 5 minutes for a quick warm-up, but before we get into thanking our sponsors right before this event here tonight, which is Kyle, you are our resident expert on that, let's get a diagram up here on screen to talk about the Nerf bars on these cars. So you see 3 circles there. The red circle That is around what is called the Nerf bar on these cars. It sticks out a little bit further than the tires, and that's to protect the tires, prevent them from getting cut when they hit side by side. And I say when, not if, because those Nerf bars are used to push cars up and out of the way. And it's a simple solution to a complicated problem. How do you prevent cars from cutting down tires? Well, you just stick metal bars just outside of the width of the tires to knock the other guy out of the way and prevent the tires from getting cut. On the front, in that green circle, is the front bumper there. You use that to push someone out of your way. There's a very famous 3-tap rule that Ted Christopher had. The first tap means I'm here. The second tap is it's time for you to move. The third one is I'm moving you. And you will feel those 3 taps on your back bumper in the blue circle there. Again, very rigid, very durable. You can see by the design, they're steel, very, very strong. You can beat and bang on those and slam someone out of your way if you need to. So expect to see that here tonight, especially with the setup that these guys are running. You can expect to see a lot of beating and banging and use of all 3 of those bars all around the car.
600 horsepower, wide tires, and Nerf bars wrapped around the car. They're like raceable rocket ships for the most part. They are an incredible car to watch race live in person, and it's going to be fun to watch here over the next 80 laps at the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway, all courtesy of All Phases Renovations, the proud sponsor of tonight's race program. They've been on board the last several weeks with us here on Stafford Motor Speedway's YouTube page. Purse of $250 going out to tonight's top 3. They include the first $150 for the race winner, $75 for second, and third place getting $25, located in southeastern Massachusetts. Give Larry a call, 508-332-6316 for all of your outdoors needs. Want to also thank some of the other sponsors at Stafford Motor Speedway, including Napa Auto Parts, Dunleavy's Truck and Trailer Repair, Mid-Site Development, Call Before You Dig, Lincoln Technical Institute, Spark Virtual Reality, Mayberry Material Handling, all proud sponsors of the Stafford Motor Speedway each and every Friday night once we get up and rolling. Want to give a quick shout out to one of the longtime officials at the Stafford Motor Speedway, Tom Fox, watching here this evening. He's been participating in the chat on YouTube and exchanging some messages along with us, Jeff and Bonza. So glad to see Tom enjoying tonight's race program. He would be cold right now if we were doing this in the real world, and probably wet.
Oh man, in the middle of May, who would have figured we might have a chance of snow? Also want to give a shout out to Stafford's YouTube channel for those who have not much to do during the off season. Obviously, we're in a tough time right now where there's no racing. Stafford's YouTube channel's had a lot of content throughout the last several months. The Bottom Shot podcast featuring Paula Root, you, Kyle Rick, you talk to a wide array of guests, people like Lisa Root, Mike Christopher Sr., for those who don't mind some, not PG language. And you had guys like Woody Pitcack, Keith Rocco, a lot of great people that we had on for the Bottom Shot podcast, talking for about an hour or so. Great stories. We've had videos talking about drivers' first wins, Meg Fuller's first career win, Darrell Keene's first career win, Travis Hyder, and so on. The championship battle in 2018, the SK Light Division between Marcello Refrano and Brian Narducci. One of the most historic battles you'll see at Stafford, and a very dramatic ending. That among more on Stafford Speedway's YouTube channel. So for those who are watching the stream right now, don't forget to subscribe to Stafford's YouTube.
Yeah, a lot of great races. Classic races being posted every day as well from all of the Stafford Motor Speedway divisions. You mentioned the driver profiles and the Bottom Shot podcast. A lot of content updated daily at Stafford Speedway's YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe. And StaffordSpeedway.com for all the latest on what hope will be a busy summer of racing. But like the rest of the world, we are, one, trying to stay healthy. And we hope everyone watching here tonight is staying healthy. And two, just waiting to see what's to come. Every day is different, and every state is different from day to day. So it's no doubt a very unique time that we are living right now. But thankfully, we have some virtual racing to fill the gap. The Arute family has done a great job making the best of a very tough situation, and this is already week number 7 of this Friday night iRacing program. 4 weeks already for the SK Modifieds. We did a Street Stock race 2 weeks ago, late models last week, and tour type modifieds here this evening. And it looks like, Jeff, we're about set to go for some feature racing. That final practice is in the books, the final warm-up session. Here's your starting lineup.
Starting on the pole is going to be Reagan Parent in that 27 machine, was awfully quick, and now on his outside is Ryan Blanchard. Behind him is going to be Kyle Souza starting third, Ryan Borges in fourth. Mikey Flynn starts fifth with Troy Tallman in sixth, Jacob Perry in seventh, Teddy Hodgson in eighth, Kyle Johnson starts ninth, and rounding out your top 10 is Brian Narducci.
Starting in the 11th spot is Peter Bennett. Mason Tessier starts in 12th. Dan Weston in 13th. Matt Basser in 14th. Joseph Eiler in 15th. Andy Seiss, in 16th. Devin Jensick in 17th. Matt Swanson 18th. Mike Christopher Jr. starts deep in the field in the 19th spot. And George Bissett Jr. rounds out the top 20.
Having to come out of some of those consolation events a moment ago, then we have Al Saunders, Travis Haidar, Cliff Saunders, Glenn Reen, and Dan Butler rounding out the 25-car starting field here this evening. Can Glenn Reen get to the front from the back row? It'll be interesting to watch him and see if he uses Reen Acres in the process. Finished second on the opening night here. It's been nothing but trouble, though, for Glenn in the weeks since. Had a computer issue week number 2, then finished 25th, 19th, 16th. I don't think he competed last week. If he did, he didn't make the features. So hoping to turn his luck around here this evening.
He's one of my 3 drivers to watch here tonight. 2 of them are starting deep in the field. 3 people you need to keep your eye on: Glenn Reen, Mike Christopher Jr., and Mikey Flynn. All 3 of those drivers have struggled here in the past couple weeks. Mike Christopher Jr. has done the best of those 3. But those 3 guys are all looking to make something happen. So right now, keep an eye on Glenn Reen, Mike Christopher Jr., and Mikey Flynn to make something happen. Getting ready to take the green flag, though, Reagan Parent with a great jump at the start. Not as good for Ryan Blanchard, who's hung up on that outside, losing a bit of ground. Reagan Parent is clear now, and Kyle Souza, the media man, goes to work on Ryan Blanchard. He looks at the bottom shot move, thinks better of it, decides on the tap to the back bumper instead.
Too early for the bottom shot. Only lap number 1 as everybody, it looks like, is going to survive the opening circuit, led by Parent, Blanchard, Souza. They quickly get single file along with Flynn. He's riding in 4th. They really stack up from about 5th on back. Borges is there, Hodgson, Perry, all in that pack of traffic just inside of the top 10 as they get racy a little bit toward the front. 2 laps in the books.
Troy Tallman just moved up to the 5th spot, past Borges in 24. Next battle behind Borges is Jacob Perry inside of Teddy Hodgson. Again, that's Hodgson, that orange 55-car throwback speed for him. They continue to race side by side. Meanwhile, at the front, Perry continues to lead. The front 6 are single file.
Narducci's making the outside work, thinks better of it, and dives to the bottom. He's going to push Jacob Perry to get around Teddy Hodgson. Hodgson is going to slip in line now. That's battle for the 8th place spot, and Narducci has it. Now Narducci going to start working on Jacob Perry, trying to make something happen. Narducci's strategy is simple. Get into the other driver's head and make them make a mistake. You have to be on top of them and make them mess up. But right now, Mikey Flynn, sitting in 4th place, just had the fastest lap in 18.316. That's the fastest lap we've seen all night.
Narducci a winner here in the modifieds, winning the 2nd week out as we're on board with Mikey Flynn from position number 4, trying to close in on Kyle Souza, running on solid 3rd. Everybody right now, right on the bottom of the racetrack, you can look in Flynn's mirror and see Troy Tallman looking to his inside. Tallman running in 5th, and Borges next car in line in 6th, all tightly bunched up at the front of the field. But so far, so good. 7 laps in the books. Reagan Parent has led all the way over Blanchard in 2nd, then Souza, and then we continue to ride on board with Mikey Flynn in position number 4.
One thing you notice with Mikey Flynn, gets a little bit loose off a turn 4. That's what we're talking about. The cars get a little bit twitchy. Up front, though, battle for the lead. Blanchard looks to the inside of Parent. Parent has not been able to pull away from the field. One car hits the wall of a turn 2 behind them, but Parent does hold on to the lead. The top 3 are all bunched up right now. It's Parent, Blanchard, and Souza as the yellow does come out.
Might have been for Flynn. Flynn involved, maybe Seiss as well.
Mikey Flynn was
Jacob
involved.
Perry.
I can't find him.
Yeah, Jacob Perry is around in turn 3, but I believe that was Mikey Flynn off of turn 2 that hit the wall behind this battle for the lead. Looking at the replay right now, and yeah, Mikey Flynn was riding the wall, and with the open wheel cars, you can ride the wall and you can get stuck on it. But Perry did also go around in turn 3, and it brings out the first yellow on lap number 9.
All by himself for Mikey Flynn, solo car incident, and he is already out of this event and will finish 25th here this evening. Reagan Parent leads over Blanchard, Souza, Tallman, and Ryan Borges. Again, all this action tonight brought to you by All Phases Renovations. We're the winner, racing for more than just bragging rights here tonight. They're racing for $150 as part of the winner's purse here, or the top 3 purse here this evening. Second place gets $75. Third place gets $25 from All Phases Renovations. Getting a look at some of their work now on the screen. Larry, great contact with All Phases Renovations to get all your outdoor construction needs completed. Patios, pool renovations, decks, outdoor bars, and a whole lot more. 508-332-6316 is the phone number to call, or visit them on Facebook.
I just got word from Mikey Flynn. His computer crashed there, so some hardware issues ended up taking him out of the race. Man, he was having a great run there. I can tell the disappointment over text, how much it hurts there. You have a great run going, so the commentator's curse strikes again. One of the 3 guys that I picked is now out
You
of the
pick him
race.
every week.
I pick him every week, and I picked him every week last season as well. And you know what? He almost had a race won, and then he got in a late race wreck going into turn 3 with Jonathan Pulio. Anyone that I pick is cursed, and now I'm starting to feel bad for Mike Christopher Jr. and Glenn Reen, as well as Kyle Casagrande. It appears that I'm the cursed one. Oh no.
I don't know if it's the broadcaster's curse or the McConey curse, now that I think about it. But looking up in the front, I do want to talk about Reagan Parent for a second. Obviously, Parent transferred in from Wednesday last week, ended up winning the late model feature on Friday. Parent is a third-generation racer from Rhode Island, just 19 years old. He's a Legends car racer at Seekonk. He's also a crew chief in the ACT Tour, the late model tour, the American Canadian Tour. His grandfather, Reen, raced both. His father was actually a winner in the ACT at New Hampshire back in 2012 and a track champion at Thompson. Started in go-karts, now racing in Legends. Reagan Parent was not sure how fast he was going to be today because of this being the modified division, but so far, he's had a couple bouts with Blanchard, but he's holding his own right now in the front.
He's run well here this week and last week. You mentioned won the late model race a week ago and is running up toward the front here in the tour type race. As we get set to go green, we're back underway. Parent, Blanchard, Souza, and Borges lead the field back to turn number 2. They quickly single out among the first couple of spots, with Parent leading the way. Then it's Blanchard. Souza third, but drives way up the racetrack in turn number 3, nearly giving up a position as the field slows.
Yeah, Devin Jensick was around in turn number 1. I believe that's what caused the yellow. Jensick was just laying across the track in the middle of the groove in turns 1 and 2. He makes his way on the pit road. That's our second caution of the race on lap 14 as we get a look at the replay here. Kind of a stack up. He had Travis Hyder right in front, and that chain reaction eventually led to Jensick getting turned by Matt Swanson. I believe George Bissett Jr. got a slight piece of that. Nothing too hard in terms of hits, though. We'll see how long Jensick's in the pits for.
See if you can keep the car at least on the lead lap, because if you stay on the lead lap here, you're probably still going to have a shot. It's unfortunate that first yellow, we were under a fairly long green flag run, and the first yellow because of the computer glitch by Flynn, and now we have our first, real incident of this event involving Devin Jensick. Andy Seiss has also been on the pit lane as a lap down. And Jensick now will also fall 1 lap down, but it's Parent the leader. Blanchard, Souza, Borges, Troy Tallman, not a lot of changes in the top 5. We mentioned Parent won a week ago, and we mentioned how this is the 7th event that we have run here for Stafford Motor Speedway's iRacing program, the eStafford Motor Speedway Series. Teddy Hodgson won the first night way back on March 27th, which seems like years ago at this point. Brian Narducci won a week number 2. These are in SK Modifieds. Matthew Kimball won on night number 3, and then Mike Christopher Jr. won on the 4th night on April 17th. All of that in SK Modifieds. We changed it up for April 24th and went street stock racing. Kyle Souza transferred in through the Wednesday night fan program and won the Friday night program. And then we talked about Parent a moment ago, transferring, running well enough to get in. And he won last week again through the Wednesday night program. So fans picking up wins these last 2 weeks. See if a Stafford regular can kind of break that streak here tonight. The current leaderboard says no. I believe the highest Stafford regular is Borges 4th, Tallman 5th, Narducci 6th, and Teddy Hodgson 7th.
And another streak is 6 races, 6 different winners.
That's it.
Will that streak continue today? Will we have a 7th different winner? Or will we see a guy like Narducci or Hodgson make his way up to the front and get a second victory? Mike Christopher Jr. has gained 7 spots. Not that many green flag laps, but he's gained 7 spots. He's up to the 12th position. And Travis Hyder, he started back in 22nd. He's up to 13th. So we have a couple guys moving up quickly. But there's a guy that can become the 7th different driver to win. Ryan Blanchard's the one to watch. He came so close in the last SK modified race we had, but unfortunately got passed by Mike Christopher Jr. and Teddy Hodgson with like 10 laps to go in a 3-wide battle. He's looking for redemption here in his favorite division on iRacing, the Tour Mods.
Coming back to the green flag here, Reagan Parent leads the way. Ryan Blanchard to the outside of him, and Reagan with a great jump there. That opens the door for Kyle Souza, the media man, to look low on Blanchard. He's there. He's got the space. He's got the run, and the caution is back out. I imagine we're going to see a green-white checkered, or I'm sorry, not green-white checkered, single file. George Bissett Jr. involved in that wreck. He was running 15th, but now, Glenn Reen and one of the Saunders, the 40 car, gets up into them 3 wide down the front stretch. Doesn't work too well. Big wreck, Glenn Reen going through Reen Acres sideways.
Well, you knew it had to happen at some point during the night, and unfortunately for Reen, it happened in the feature here, and not by choice. Took evasive action there, trying to move around George Bissett Jr., who we were focused on a moment ago, spinning into turn number 1, tagging the outside wall. Another look from the view of Glenn Reen.
A lot of wheel spin coming off of turn 4. We've seen some bumping and wheel spinning as they take the green flag, and it was just a tight space there. He was 3 wide in the middle, and there was just not much room to spare. Matt Swanson got a piece of it. Dan Weston, that's the black car right in front of Reen on the onboard, he was involved in that. So about 5 or so cars involved in that, and Glenn Reen has been given a black flag. He'll be going to the end of the line.
On pit road right now is Glenn Reen. Talked about Blanchard a moment ago. Just found some stats on him. Hold up, now my sheet has gone away. But he's run well in every race that he has run here in this series, finishing among the top 5, I believe, in every race. So a good run for Blanchard. Also for Regan Parent running here tonight. I'll find those stats here in a moment. Kyle Souza, Borges, and Narducci rounding out the top 5. Trying to see if there's anybody else on the pit lane. Andy Seiss is on pit road. He is a lap down. Devin Jensick, he might get the free pass here, though. Jensick, Glenn Reen on the pit lane, along with Mikey Flynn, who is 15 laps down and out of this event after that computer glitch.
Now, Blanchard, even though he's not a regular racer at Stafford, he is very much a familiar face. 17-year-old Bethlehem, Connecticut native. He's a spotter for Steven Kopchik. He was spotting for him last season full-time. Kopchik got a couple wins last season in the SK Modified Division. In fact, the first time that Blanchard and Kopchik did work together, they won. He also raced his champ cards up at Pomfret, so you'll see Blanchard around at Stafford. He also is a spotter for Joey Cipriano in the Tour type mods, and he's the cousin of Chase Dowling and helps in the Whelen Modified team when necessary.
I'm 2 for 3 so far on drivers that I picked to watch being involved in wrecks. Glenn Reen now involved in that last one. Mikey Flynn.
You're on a roll, dude.
I am, call me butter because I'm on a roll. And now the only one left is Mike Christopher Jr., who sits in 11. Let's see if Jeff McConey can go 3 for 3 on calling who will be involved in the wrecks. I'm very sorry, everyone.
Going to be a couple of more moments before we go back under the green, and you have a third opportunity at ending somebody's night here this evening. We'll get the field line back up. Hopefully we'll get the one-to-go signal this time by Parent, Blanchard, Souza, Borges, and Narducci, the top 5. Again, we want to thank everybody for watching here this evening. Over 500 folks are watching just a couple of moments ago. Last time I checked, and we've had almost, I believe, 1,200 or 1,300 views for the Wednesday night programs. So these events, albeit virtual, really beginning to pick up a whole lot of steam here in the last couple of weeks, and hopefully we'll have more of these to announce here in the coming weeks until at least we get back to the real world racing. About to go back virtual racing though. Pace truck is in. Green flag set to fly here as we are just past the 1/4 mark.
Reagan Parent with a great jump. Right now, Kyle Souza again looking low on the bottom of Ryan Blanchard, trying to make something happen. He doesn't get as good a run as he had before, but he's still there. He's got the room. He decides not to go for a bottom shot, checks up a little bit. Narducci has to hit the binders, and now he's going to fall in line. Narducci does behind Borges, but that is not going to stay that way for long. Here comes Narducci on the bottom. It's a hard battle for third place.
Souza does win the battle for third, though. The battle is for fourth. Narducci trying to dive it in deep on Borges. Borges does give the 0-1 room, being that it's early in the race. They stay side by side for turn number 4. Narducci gets a little bit sideways, but hangs on. But Borges does take that 4th spot, and he slides up again, so the battle continues with him and Narducci.
Yeah, Narducci and Borges, then Hodgson right behind them as they work their way up the back straightaway, running for 4th on back. Top 3 have singled out. They're trying to pull away from the rest of the field, and there's a bit of a gap there between Souza in 3rd, Narducci in 4th, the highest of the Stafford regulars. Borges in 5th as we go on board now with Teddy Hodgson just outside of the top 5, looking to race his way into the field, or looking to race his way into the top 5, that is, right now running in the 6th spot, just ahead of Troy Tallman in 7th.
Reagan Parent, we're going to call him the conductor because he's leading this long freight train all the way around the track. Everyone is single file. Kyle Souza, though, trying to get around, gives that back bumper shot number 1, shot number 2. Now looks to the bottom. Is shot number 3 going to send Reagan Parent around? No. Reagan now pushes him down to the apron, though, to the grass. Gets a better run off. That is not going to make Kyle Souza very happy. Let's see if the tempers flare as they complete another lap. 33 of them now in the books.
Yeah, Reagan put a good pinch there on Kyle Souza off of turn 2 last time by. Souza had gotten past Blanchard the lap before. Battle for third, though. Brian Narducci does get to the inside of Blanchard. They might have made a little bit of contact. Narducci gets a little bit loose. The battle continues, though, as Narducci goes into the corner very deep, almost into the grass. Gives a little shot to Blanchard off of turn 4, and he will take that 3rd spot.
Takes the position away, does Brian Narducci, move him up a position to number 3. Borges back to 4th. Blanchard is there. Teddy Hodgson is there. Top 2 now. He's trying to separate themselves from the rest of the field. Reagan Parent, the leader. Kyle Souza in 2nd. No need to kind of force any issue yet in running for the lead. Not quite to the halfway mark. Still 5 laps shy of halfway in this 80-lap tour type modified feature event. Things singling out now at the front of the field. Parent Souza, then Narducci, Borges as you see there, Blanchard rounding out the top 4.
You see Kyle Souza beating and banging on that back bumper. Reagan Parent, I've raced with Kyle a lot in the past. He's a very calm driver. He's a calculated driver, and now I think that patience is worn thin as he pushes his way around. Gets a little bit loose, though. They're still side by side. Entering turn 1, we're getting close to halfway. Souza lets that car slide up, bumps Nerf bars with Reagan, and they're still side by side. Reagan making the outside work, but Kyle Souza now, sick of it. He gets around. That opens the door for Narducci to get there. Narducci going to go to work on Kyle Souza as well. Souza now has to worry about Narducci on the bottom. Let's see what he does. Put Kyle Souza to the lead. Narducci now side by side for 2nd. Ryan Borges, the karting champ, sits in 3rd. And with Ryan Blanchard now back in 5th, excuse me, but it's looking like Reagan Parent is going to have some work to do to fall back in line. He's under attack by Ryan Borges now.
Yeah, Parent tried to get in line in front of Borges, but Borges was not having any of it. He pushes Parent up the racetrack in turn 2 and takes the 3rd spot. Parent will have to settle in 4th. The battle's for the 5th position right now between Teddy Hodgson and Ryan Blanchard. Hodgson inside of Blanchard. He's going to take that spot up at turn 4. Troy Tallman looks to follow suit behind.
Yeah, Blanchard's been stuck in that outside lane and has faded through the top 5 and now is in the 6th spot with Troy Tallman looking at his inside for that position. As Kyle Souza now has a familiar face behind him, and Brian Narducci. Both of these drivers have won this iRacing or e-season for Stafford Motor Speedway, looking to become the first repeat winners. We have a little bit of shoving going on just inside of the top 10. No harm, no foul. Bennett in that pack of traffic, along with Mike Christopher Jr. coming up through the field, and he gives a shot to Tallman. Tallman slides up the track. Here comes Christopher now to the bottom.
Tallman had pushed Mike Christopher Jr. up the track in turn 1. In turn 3, a nice shot to the back bumper for Troy Tallman there from Mike Christopher Jr. That's bump number 1. Keep an eye on this battle here. Mike Christopher Jr. is looking to line him up and knock him down as he works his way up through the field. He's sort of stalled out in 8th, though. He needs to get around Tallman, as right now there's a wreck ahead of him. Parent goes around. Hodgson involved. 2 big contenders involved in that wreck.
Travis Hyder involved in it too. Hodgson got to the inside of Parent, and they just converged entering turn number 1, and that caused Hodgson to go around with Parent, and Travis Hyder just had nowhere to go up on the outside. He already committed up top, and Hodgson went up right in front of him, but Hodgson and Parent did get together. Hodgson was looking to the inside coming into turn number 1, and unfortunately, can't tell if Parent blocked or not. We'll see here as we watch the replay, but that is huge. 2 heavy hitters. 3 heavy hitters. Travis Hyder has been very fast as well, and they're all involved in the crash.
Oh man, that was just hard racing. I think it was a bit of a block by Reagan Parent that caused that wreck, but I think an EOL might be coming for Teddy Hodgson, and there it is. He was put at fault for that wreck by the man who calls himself Sheriff, Dylan Kopech, driver of the M6 Tour Modified in real life. He is wielding the guns here tonight, though, for this E-Series. He has been our race director the past couple weeks, keeps everyone in line. No tomfoolery, no hijinks from anyone. If you're going to win this race, you're going to earn it, and you're going to play by the rules.
5 laps past halfway, working lap number 45 of 80. Kyle Johnson, Dan Wesson, Andy Seiss, Matt Swanson among the drivers on the pit lane. Teddy Hodgson is out of the event after the wreck in turn number 1, as is Mikey Flynn. Glenn Reen still out there, but it's about...
Because we've seen guys like Souza enter in high, cut down low, and try to get underneath Parent, and eventually it worked. Or he just got into the back of Parent, but he was able to roll the center and come off the corner faster than Parent. And we've seen some guys take it easy entering the corner. We've seen guys drive it in deep. We have different approaches to the turn. It's leading to all this congestion in the middle of the corner. We're seeing these chain reaction type incidents where 3 or 4 cars are locking Nerf bars against each other. We've seen some very good racing here in the first half of this event.
Keep an eye on this battle for first. It's going to be very, very interesting, I think. Kyle Souza, he's usually very patient, very calm, but I think he's sort of reached the end of his wit with Reagan Parent, and that frustration doesn't just go away in an instant when you're behind the wheel of a race car. Even if it's on iRacing, you still get frustrated, and at some point you're sort of just mad at the world. I guess that's the best way to put it. So I don't think he's going to tolerate any nonsense from someone behind him, Brian Narducci, who we talked about earlier. His strategy, if you are going to get in someone's head, you better make sure they make a mistake, even if it needs a little bit of help. He's not afraid to use that front bumper of his to make something happen. And Kyle Souza, he's already frustrated. He got his way around Reagan Parent. Keep an eye on this battle for the front. You've got 2 guys that both want to win more than they hate losing.
Well, like you said a little bit ago, though, Kyle Souza doesn't rattle very easily, though. Calm, cool, collected behind the wheel of his iRacing sim, and it's proven well the last couple of weeks. A win 2 weeks ago, a 2nd place last week, and he's leading here, coming back to the green flag with Brian Narducci to his right elbow. Then it's Ryan Blanchard and Ryan Borges in row 2. Green flag back out. We are back underway, and it's Souza getting the jump to turn 1.
Oh, Souza washed up the track, though. Narducci gets to the inside of Souza as a result. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway. Will Narducci drive in deep? He goes almost in the grass, slides up the track, gives Souza a little tap. Souza gets sideways, but he hangs on. But Narducci does take the lead, and Borges is right there behind Souza in the 3rd spot. The first battle's for 4th between Blanchard and Mike Christopher Jr.
That's not going to be the end of it right there. That was a very bold move on lap 49 for Brian Narducci to pull. And Kyle Souza, I don't think he's going to be too happy about it. Let's see what he has to say about this later on. When he gets to that back bumper, we're going to see some sparks flying. I'm excited for this. You have 2 drivers that are not happy with each other.
28 laps to go when they hit the line. Narducci the leader. Souza settling in the line in 2nd. Does he give a little bit of a tap to the back bumper. He does not, because he also knows that Ryan Borges is there in third. It looks like we have another caution.
Cliff Saunders has spun in turns 3 and 4, and that will bring out the yellow once again.
So Saunders spins, puts us back under the caution flag here this evening with 52 of 80 laps complete. We're going to go see if we can get a look at it here and what brought out this caution flag, the 5th of the evening. A little bit of contact there. Sends Saunders up and in to the outside wall. Cliff Saunders will get an overhead look as they race off of turn number 2 and up the back straightaway. Saunders did not get a good exit off of turn number 2. And a bit of contact there to the inside sends Saunders around. Minimal damage, though. Has not yet visited the pit lane, running in the 20th spot.
Going to be a great restart here. We're over halfway, lap 53 as it sits right now under caution. These laps do count, so they are still clicking off laps. Glenn Reen gets the lucky dog. He's about 20 laps down last I checked. Someone working their way up through the field, though, that's going to throw their hat in the ring for this battle for first, Mike Christopher Jr., but he's got to get around Ryan Borges, Kyle Souza, and Brian Narducci if he wants to win this race. He's fought from 19th all the way up to 4th, though. That 82 machine, he only needs to lead one lap tonight, as long as it's the last one.
The car that got into Cliff Saunders was Andy Seiss. But another guy that has made his way towards the front, not as quickly, but Matt Basser's in 6th. He started in the 14th spot. He was in that battle with Christopher and Blanchard. Matt Basser has slowly been making his way towards the front, as you call him, Jeff, the Slim Reaper. Moving up 8 spots since the start of the race. Reagan Parent, despite the spin a couple cautions ago, he's already back up to the top 10, so he's quickly making a charge.
Making a charge and still has time to make his way further up through the field. Still 25 laps to go, working lap number 56 as the field crosses the line. We talked about the Stafford YouTube page. If you're enjoying tonight's program, go ahead and give us a share on your social media platforms, whether it be Twitter or your Facebook page. Have some other folks join in the fun. Still right around just over 500 folks watching us here tonight. A very active chat, as we have had almost every night since the start of this 7 weeks ago. So this has been fun. Again, a great job by the Arute family bringing the Stafford community together. We can't be together in person right now, so why not do it virtually? And they have done a great job with SK Modified racing the first 4 weeks. Street stocks, late models, and now tour type modifieds. And then stay tuned for information regarding what is to come next week and weeks beyond, as we're set to go back to racing here. Field off turn 4 for the restart.
Brian Borges did a good jump on the inside there, sitting in 3rd place. He's looking to the inside of Kyle Souza now, and Brian Narducci is hoping for a side-by-side battle for 2nd.
Souza gets a really good run off of turn 2 on the high side. He's going to try and clear Borges in turn number 3. Gets a little bit loose entering the corner as he drove it in deep, but he's going to get the run off and take that 2nd spot back. Now Christopher Jr. looks to the outside of Borges for the 3rd position. Matt Basser side by side with Blanchard for 5th.
Mike Christopher Jr. cutting down the bottom off of turn number 2, trying to build that run onto the back straightaway, but unable to make a move. Remains in 4th, the car length behind Ryan Borges. Just ahead of Ryan Blanchard, running in 5th, but yellows breed yellows, no doubt. We have another one here.
Yeah, Travis Hyder spun in turn 3.
Yeah, he got stuck behind the 23 of Devin Jensick. Jensick hit the wall, checked way up, and then going into the corner, Travis Hyder just had nowhere to go.
On board with Jensick off of turn number 2. And got into the outside wall off of turn number 2, caught the wall again, and stacked up behind him.
Yeah, it looks like Andy Seiss was right behind Hyder, and because of Jensick catch the wall, it caused a little bit of a domino effect and nowhere for Seiss to go except into the back of Hyder. It's the 2nd incident that Hyder has been involved in. It's unfortunate for him because he has been fast, now caught up in another accident.
Buddy Charette joining us on the live chat saying, well, this is the most racing we've seen all year. And sadly, he is right. However, I'd rather, as at least tonight anyway, rather be doing this virtually with snow in the forecast during the overnight hours and a high temperature today up here in my part of the state of Connecticut, 52 degrees. So, and that temperature has dropped dramatically in the hours since I saw that 52-degree reading earlier today. Wouldn't have been the best night to go short track racing, but a great night for virtual racing, no doubt, as have the last 7 Friday nights. As we continue to ride under caution again, All Phases Renovations provide the proud sponsor of tonight's race program, and these top half dozen or so drivers all racing to be on the podium, if of course they can't win, because the top 3 have a bit of a payout thanks to All Phases Renovations. The entire purse, $250. $150 to the winner, $75 for second, $25 for third. You see some of their work on the screen right now. Give Larry a call for all of your outdoor construction needs, including patios and pools and outdoor bars, kitchens, decks, and a whole lot more. His phone number, 508-332-6316.
Let's take a moment here to appreciate everything that's been going on behind the scenes, that none of this sim racing would be possible without all the work of the people that, are working and, don't get as much credit as maybe they should sometimes, because it's absolutely so easy to forget how much goes into making one of these events happen. So thank you to the Root family, Stafford Speedway, for getting this event put together. Thank you to our director behind the scenes, Sean Ambrose, our camera producer, Dougie Beard. They work over at the Global Sim Racing channel. Make sure to show them some love as well. But without them, this event would not be possible, and we would not have this broadcast to share with all of you tonight. So thank you to everyone working behind the scenes. If you want to hear from the guy that does direct these, Mr. Sean Ambrose, you can catch him on the Bottled Up podcast tomorrow. It'll be posted by the time you get your morning coffee. But right now, we're getting ready to go back green. Brian Narducci out to the lead. Kyle Souza in second. And I'll tell you what, Mike Christopher Jr. now on that back bumper of Souza. I think a fun game to play would be take a shot every time one of these drivers gets hit and contact is made in the top 3. I don't know if we'd make it to the end of the night.
Got one car around in turns 3 and 4 as it comes down to the line, takes 16 to go, and that's going to bring out the yellow again. That was Troy Talman that went around in turn 3 in the 79 car, and that will bring out the caution. Cautions breed cautions, and we're only down to 16 laps to go, so they're going to get more and more aggressive as we approach the end of this one. We're going to see a replay and find out what happened. He's side by side with Blanchard off of turn number 2. It looks like he might have tried going to the inside and get in front of Blanchard. They just all kind of stacked up, it looks like. It was just close quarters racing. And another car went around and missed that as well, but the yellow does come out yet again.
Running the Hillbilly racing scheme from days gone by is Troy Tallman tonight. Unfortunately, a bit of contact there sends him around and to the back of the field. But again, minimal damage. He is able to continue on now within the final 14 laps. Wow, this one zipping along even with the number of yellows that we have had. Again, the caution laps do count here tonight. And Jeff, while we have a moment, I'll bring you in. Walk us through a potential green-white checker issue. What are the rules to ending an event here tonight if a caution were to come out late?
If a green-white checker does end up coming out, there's going to be 3 laps left in the event. Really, 2 laps left in the event. So they take the green flag, they complete 1 lap, and then once that lap is completed, the millisecond the leader crosses the line, the next flag ends the race. So they're going to have to run 1 more lap and finish off the event, then take the checkered. Now, we have up to 3 attempts at a green-white checkered, but we expect to see very dicey racing during that because everyone's trying to get every position they can. So who knows? Right now, we're coming down to just 14 laps to go. Once they hit the line, it's going to be 13 to go. Let's see. One of these top 3 drivers is looking like they're going to come out the winner. Brian Narducci, Kyle Souza, and Mike Christopher Jr. 2 of those 3 drivers hold the top 2 spots overall for the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour on iRacing. They're the best of the best in these cars, and they are proving it here tonight. But Kyle Souza, if he can beat both of those, I think that's a lot of swagger for a media man to carry. Yeah, I beat both of those guys, and I'm still the one behind the microphone.
Well, Souza has been having an issue of timing the restarts because Narducci jumped so early. For the restarts, in the start of the race, the green flag decides when the leaders can go. But when it's a restart, the leader decides when to go once the pace car pulls off. And we've seen Narducci, as soon as the pace truck pulls off, I should say, immediately go. And because he jumps so quick, Souza has not been able to catch up. The one possibility for Souza in terms of finding a way to stay side by side with Narducci is if Borges right behind him can give him a bump on the restart and give a little head start to see if he can at least stay to Narducci's door when they cross the stripe. It'll be interesting to see here, though, as we come down to the line and take this restart with just 11 laps to go.
Down to it here tonight for the Tour Type Modifieds. Narducci, Souza, front row, both winners here in the iRacing season thus far in the first 6 weeks. As is Mike Christopher Jr. restarting in third. Green flag out. Narducci gets a great jump. Souza tries to cut to the bottom and hangs on to the second spot for now. They stack up behind him, though, and this one's going to collect a bunch of them in turn 2.
Big wreck involving Ryan Borges there, but that was caused by netcode. Maybe not. I'm getting a replay on that. Unfortunately, iRacing can't perfectly keep track of every single car on track. So sometimes a car just goes around. It thinks the car is a couple inches to the left or right. But when you think about it, how accurate it is, 99.999% of the time, it's quite phenomenal. So unfortunately, occasionally these glitches happen. You see the 24 car Ryan Borges. Nothing hits him, but he gets sent around. That's just one of the parts of iRacing. Unfortunately, not much you can do about it, but for what it's worth, it happens on very, very rare occasions.
Reagan Perrin and Matt Vassar got a piece. Matt Swanson actually caught the wall in the midst of trying to avoid that crash. Kyle Souza and Mike Christopher Jr. got together at the start-finish line. Even though you're getting up to speed off of turn 4, you're still accelerating a lot, and you can still get loose off the corner. And Mike Christopher Jr. got a little bit loose, started drifting up the track on the front stretch. Souza was starting to come down. They actually got together, and Souza did a great job saving that car because that could have been an absolute disaster. So they stay second and third. There's only less than 10 laps to go. Probably going to restart with about 6 to go maybe. Time is running out, and Narducci again got a really good jump, and Christopher pounced on it, trying to take that second spot from Souza.
Been a tough going here in the second half of this race. We went the first, 16, 17 laps with just one quick yellow, and once we got that first caution, it's been tough to get a run together here, and we're into the final 10 laps. It'll be 8 laps to go now, 7 to go, and they come back to the start-finish line. So it looks like we might have a 6-lap run to the finish if we get the 1 to go this time by, with Brian Narducci being scored as the leader over Kyle Souza, Mike Christopher Jr., Ryan Blanchard, Mason Tessier up and in to the top 5. He's run well here tonight, one of the drivers that qualified into this event through the Horton Group prelim night for the fans. It's an open night of racing where you can register and compete on Wednesday nights. You do not need to be a regular real-world competitor at the Stafford Motor Speedway to participate. They take the top 5 out of the Wednesday night program and add them into the Friday night program. And Mason Tessier, one of those drivers to transfer, along with Kyle Sisko, Tyler Chadwick, Tyler Wood, and Stephen Daddio. Unfortunately, by running well on Wednesday night, it doesn't guarantee you a spot into the feature on Friday night. It just allows you the opportunity to make the feature, and several of those drivers unable to make the 80-lap race here tonight, but Mason did, and he's running in the top 5.
Running up at the front, though, is Brian Narducci, Kyle Souza in second, Mike Christopher Jr. in third, Ryan Blanchard fourth, Mason Tessier now up to 5th. Joseph Eiler, how about him having a fantastic run, sitting in 6th place? He's racing from the Spark VR headquarters now, and if you're going to experience iRacing, get a VR. You might as well try it. It's as close to being in the car as you can possibly get. He's going to see what it's like to take a restart here from 6th place. Now Brian Narducci gets a great jump out at the front. He's got 10 car lengths over Kyle Souza, and Mike Christopher Jr. just right behind, sitting in 3rd, waiting on his chance to pounce. Remember, though, Kyle Souza's had a lot of time to sit and stew about how Narducci got by him, which was a hard bump and a shot to the side. Let's see if he's got anything to say to him. If he gets up to that back bumper, he might get a little bit aggressive.
That was a single file restart, which was to the advantage of Narducci, hence why he got such a big jump. But Kyle Souza is reeling Narducci in. The caution does come out, though, nonetheless. One car is upside down in the front stretch grass. It's Cliff Saunders. That's the second time he has crashed today, at least. He is on his roof right now, and now bring out the yellow again as we approach a green-white checker.
Going to be a two-lap shootout here as we get a look at the replay with Saunders. It's been an eventful event for him. He was around in turn 3 a few laps ago and gets a little boot there from George Bissett Jr., and that'll send Saunders up and over onto the front straightaway, over the drainage ditch, through the Wild Thing karts track, and almost into the grass for Saunders. We'll get another look at it maybe in a moment as he remains on the pit lane. 2 to go. Jeff, who's your pick here? Can Narducci hold off Souza, or can Christopher maybe snicker them both?
Well, I'll give you my pick.
There we go.
It looks like Narducci's got a big advantage because it's a single file restart, and it's going to be really hard to, unless Kyle Souza times the restart just absolutely perfectly. And the only way he can really time it perfectly is if he, 1, gets a bump from Christopher, and 2, lays back. But otherwise, I think Narducci's in the spot he needs to be, because the last restart, he got such a big advantage that Souza was not close enough to make a move. But it looks like they're going to make the restarts double file again. So that completely changes the picture now. It's going to be a double file restart for the green-white checker, which gives Souza a much better chance at trying to time it right and stay beside Narducci, because we've seen Souza make the outside work. And of course, you got to watch Christopher. He has made it 3 wide before. He's not afraid to do it again. So now that I think about it, with a double file restart, I think you got to watch out for Mike Christopher Jr.
Well, I was pressing the wrong button and talking and thinking,
Nice.
boy, awfully strange. You know, there's only so many buttons that I can miss on my my little button box that I have set up here. So, great job, Jeff. You managed to call two of the three cars that made it out of the event tonight. And now you completely missed your button box. So there we go. Hopefully, though, someone that's not going to miss any of their cues is Kyle Souza. He's stuck up on that outside line. But if he gets to Brian Narducci, we know he's going to be aggressive because Brian Narducci was aggressive with him. Let's see what ends up happening, though, as they get ready to come back green.
Going to take another lap, get the back half of the field in order at this point. The caution laps aren't affecting the lap count. We know we're going to have a 2-lap run to the finish, so let's take an extra lap and get everybody lined up in their proper order, bunched up, so they have a shot here as looks like Kyle Souza trying to go through the safety truck in turn number 1. Trying to warm those tires up, perhaps, with Narducci to his inside. Then Christopher Blanchard, row 2, Tessier Perry in row number 3. 2 laps to settle it here in the Tour Type 80-lap main event here at the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway, all courtesy of All Phases Renovations. Green flag, and we're back underway for the final mile, and it's going to be Narducci getting the jump.
Kyle Souza got clear of Mike Christopher Jr., though. Now he's just a car length, now 2 off of Brian Narducci. Let's see what ends up happening. Dives it hard into turn 3. Narducci looks like he's pulling away on the straightaways, but Kyle Souza driving aggressively. The white flag is in the air. Who's going to win it?
Souza drives it in deep into turn number 1. Narducci even deeper. Souza's got the run off of turn 2. Will he try and make the bottom shot move into turn number 3? Narducci with the defensive line. Souza goes in high. Narducci starts to push up. Souza trying to get to the bumper. He gets into Narducci. They touch. It's going to be a drag race to the line. It's Kyle Souza. Kyle Souza comes home with the win after tapping Narducci off of turn 4.
Middleton Tessier comes home second. Mike Christopher Jr. third. Let's see what race control has to say. The sheriff holds the gun on this one. He's got the rope around Kyle Souza, ready to tie him up and take him to jail. Let's see what he decides. Brian Narducci not happy, but Kyle Souza, man, that wasn't intentional. Narducci checked up on corner exit, trying to save that car. Let's see what happens here. This isn't our call to make.
Well, I was going to say, we'll let the race officials determine if it was intentional or not, because, yeah, Kyle Souza, I was expecting the contact going into turn 3, and it happened well off of turn 4, almost on the front straightaway, riding on board with Kyle Souza.
You see Narducci get sideways and check up on turn exit. Can we rewind that replay and take a look at that bottom center dial? Let's see. You can tell if he's lifted off the gas by if that tachometer is decreasing or not. Maybe we can check on that. That's the easiest way to tell if he was on the brakes. Keep an eye. That bottom center dial there is the tachometer. That's the RPMs. Let's see if he's lifting. I don't know.
It's just so hard to tell because they both got a little bit loose off of turn 4, and it wasn't a hard bump. So
He's off the
it's
gas.
a tough call to make. It's a tough call to make. And Mike Christopher Jr. actually almost got his way up past Souza, but what a drag race. Kyle Souza is doing burnouts right now in the front straightaway. Wow, what a finish. Who would, as you mentioned, Kyle, we didn't know if he was going to make the move into turn number 3, and he didn't, but he made the move off of turn 4. That is not a normal spot to make a move here.
Made the move off of turn 4. We'll see if he is positioned in victory lane.
He thinks he won.
We'll probably end up talking to Kyle no matter what happens, but great run as he continues to do his donuts. I think he just blew the engine up for Kyle Souza.
Yep.
Wow, a great finish here tonight. Mason Tessier second, Mike Christopher Jr. third. That's the podium right now, and it looks like Jeff, you can listen in. Is it going to stand?
Yes, the win is going to stand. Kyle Souza is going to be the winner here tonight. Mason Tessier brings it home second. Mike Christopher Jr. in third. Ryan Blanchard in fourth. Ryan Borges in fifth. Peter Bennett sixth. Jacob Perry comes home seventh. Al Saunders in eighth. Reagan Parent in ninth. And Brian Narducci comes home 10th. Let's see what happens here. We're going to get a post-race interview, but let's round out the rest of the field, though.
Yeah, in 11th spot, you got Kyle Johnson, and Andy Seiss ends up in 12th. Travis Hyder, after a couple accidents, comes home 13th. Matt Swanson, 14th. Dan Butler, solid 15th spot finish. Joseph Eilert, 16th. Matt Vassar, some tough luck at the end after running in the top 10 most of the event. He finishes 17th. George Bissett Jr., 18th. Devin Jensick, 19th. Cliff Saunders in 20th.
And rounding out the field, guys that had trouble early include Troy Tallman, 21st. Glenn Reen, 22nd. Dan Wesson, 23rd, then Teddy Hodgson and Mikey Flynn had that computer glitch early on in tonight's race, finishing in the 25th position.
What a crazy finish here.
Wow.
We're gonna talk to the top three, Mike Christopher Jr., Mason Tessier, and Kyle Souza. We're gonna have to remind them that we are live on air, that we need to watch our language because it's going to be some heated words. My goodness. Yeah. Let's do some sponsor plugs here, though, and thank all of our sponsors here for helping us put on this event tonight.
Including All Phases Renovations here tonight. $150 going to Kyle Souza for the second time in 3 weeks. And in fact, the last 3 weeks, he has been in a position that has paid, finishing second last week. Mason Tessier picking up $75 and Mike Christopher Jr. $25. Again, all courtesy of All Phases Renovations. Give Larry a call for all of your outdoor construction needs, patios, pool renovations, outdoor bars and kitchens, decks, so much more. Find them on Facebook at All Phases Renovations or call them up at 508-332-6316. Also want to thank, while we have a moment, the Horton Group, Kenny Horton and his folks for presenting our Wednesday night sponsorship for the fan race. Mason Tessier, who did so well on Wednesday night, finishing in the second spot here tonight, one of 5 drivers that transferred from Wednesday night's race program into tonight's race program. And you're sticking with us on YouTube. You're going to hear from the top 3 here in just a moment. And when you're done, go check out some of our classic races that we've posted this week on our Stafford YouTube channel. Also, some of the driver profiles and first race wins, or the Bottom Shot podcast. We were up to 10 episodes, and some of the featured guests include Ryan Priest, Mike Christopher, Rick Fuller, Jerry Pearl, Doug Kobe, also Lisa Arute. So a lot of great interviews and content on the Stafford Motor Speedway Facebook page. Let's hear from some of our top finishers.
Right now, coming in third was Mike Christopher Jr. Let's bring him in. Man, what a finish that was. Mike, how you doing after that third place finish?
A little excited, a little pissed off, but it was fun.
It was a great race. You started towards the back in 19th. What was the key for working your way all the way up to third tonight?
Well, I tried saving my tires, and then got to I think like the top 5 or 6, and noticed that the right front was definitely worn out. But then at the end, it came down to restarts. But I really didn't have anything on it on Brian. But then I knew that Brian and Souza were going at it a little bit before. So on that green white checkered, I was like, we might have a shot here because I saw Souza was closing in. And then from my perspective, Souza just turned him off of turn 4, and obviously Brian came across my nose and I hit him. But what I saw was that Souza just cleaned him out, but obviously the race director sees it differently. I don't know if he can see anything at all because it was wrong. I mean, Souza just cleaned him out. Sucks for Brian, but Souza wrecked him, so he should be disqualified. I mean, that's what happened to me. But
Now, I was gonna ask Mike, is this like a precedent after what happened some weeks ago when you got into the back of Townman on the last lap?
yeah, it's just hypocritical. I mean, yeah, I guess obviously I hit the guy in front of me and someone wrecked. Souza hit the guy in front of him and the guy wrecked. So it's the same thing if you look at it like that, black and white. But I don't know. It's just, I think it's ridiculous.
Do you have anyone you want to thank for a third place finish here tonight?
I'd like to thank Mohawk Northeast, Sign Pro, and Waddell Communications. It was definitely interesting. I had a lot of fun. I think the tour mods put on a better show than the SKs. So it should be real interesting next week with Brian because he was not happy after this one.
A third place run here started in 19th. Mike, congratulations on that run, and I think we can expect to see another strong running out of you next week. Good luck.
Thank you.
That was third place finisher Mike Christopher Jr. Now, second place finisher Mason Tessier will come and join us here in the booth. Mason, how was the car tonight? And really, what was the key to running up front towards the end of the night?
Well, the double file restart on the inside definitely helped. I got stuck on the outside pretty much every restart until the end there, and I got pretty lucky. Not gonna lie.
Mason, you and I talked, and you said you weren't so sure how you're going to run because you needed more practice with the tour type mods after Wednesday's event. How did you feel you were able to do adapting to the tour type mods in this event and avoiding the mess around you?
Well, I just try to stay patient. That's been my problem lately. Yeah, I blame myself for getting myself into situations I shouldn't be in, trying to go too fast, too early. So, doing it first 40 laps, I just tried to learn, save tires, all that, hope for good restarts, and ended up fifth on the inside and ended up P2 in 2 laps.
Mason, a great run on Wednesday night, a great run tonight. Who do you have to thank for what has been a busy week and a successful week of racing for you?
I'd like to thank Kyle Johnson helping out in the Discord. I'd like Ryan Kuhn helps me out a ton on iRacing, teaching me the works. Nick Lascola Racing, got to give them a shout out. I race for them at Stafford Speedway. And Exotic Rays, main sponsor for our Legend car.
Congratulations on that great run here tonight, a second place finish. Good luck to you in trying to race your way in next week, though. It's always fun watching you out there. I'm sure I'll see you in one of these late model races. I know you partake in on iRacing frequently. So congratulations on that second place run here tonight, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, media man himself, Kyle Souza, joins us up here in the booth. Kyle, we are a family-friendly show, so I want to say that first and foremost. I know I've had my encounters with drivers saying things they should not hear, so it's a family-friendly show. Although I know you know that, so you're a smart guy. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come out on top here with this race. So, just walk us through the night there. Once you got sort of towards the end, what's going through your mind when you get all these cautions and you know you're one spot away from winning the event?
Hey guys, nice to be talking to you again. Appreciate all you're doing. Yeah, I mean it's a it's a little frustrating when there's a bunch of yellows in a row like that at the end when you want to race it out. But yeah, a little bit of a crazy last corner there. Definitely not how I want the race to end. You don't want to be in the middle of a controversial mess. I've been on the reporting side of controversial messes before, and I figure it's not fun to be in them, and it definitely isn't. I've learned that now. But in all seriousness, I wasn't obviously not trying to spin him out of the way to win the race. That's not my style, and if I want to do that, I had 50 or 60 laps before that. After he kicked me up the track to do that to him, so yeah. Otherwise, cool show. Nice to drive it modified. Car felt good. Setup was really good in the feature. I really liked the base that somebody built. I don't know if it was you, Jeff, or what, but the car was good in the feature. It handled it really well.
Now, Kyle, 3 races in the Friday feature, win, second win. How much does it mean to you to be able to face against these Stafford regulars and pull off such an incredible 3 races as you've done?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the whole last lap controversy and Brian's, pissed off and, messaging me up the wall and aggravated, but whatever the case, I mean, I respect the heck out of him, man. He's done a lot in real life. I've reported on him a lot in real life. I really like the stuff he does. And to race Mike Christopher there at the end at Virtual Stafford, I mean, I'm not gonna be able to do that in real life ever. I don't think I'd be able to run second in real life ever. I think my real life talent is nowhere near my iRacing talent. But it's cool. It's cool to run the iRacing series. I've had fortunate to have some good starting spots the last couple weeks and have some iRacing experience, and it's paid off.
The real life talent is the media side of things for you. And man, you've done proud for your new company, Sousa Media, all over. We're getting a look at it now, all over the modified here tonight. Who else do you have to thank to get you here? And now probably a good time to plug your company.
Yeah, what a way to get this company rolling, man. I started the Street Stock night. That was literally the first day of the company launch. And the logo went on the car. And thanks to Jeff, my brother, he's built some really, really good looking Sousa Media cars. So cool to see that. And yeah, I got to thank Kyle Casper. He was in the booth spotting for me. He just hopped on iRacing. A good friend of mine was up there kind of calming me down, giving me what was going on. And otherwise, I told you guys the last couple weeks, that's really it. This iRacing stuff is basically the driver. And I told some of the guys in that session, we're sitting in our basement with a wheel hooked to our desk. So it's pretty laid back. You can drink a family beverage or an adult beverage, I guess, and hang out and have some fun on a Friday. So thanks to you guys. Got to thank All Phases Renovation too for the money they've put up for these races. I said it last week. I'll say it again. It's really cool to be able to come on here and race at Virtual Stafford in a Stafford run league. But it's even cooler when you got companies like All Phases Renovation, Horton, who is sponsored on Wednesday nights, the prelim night. Those guys make a big difference for us. And you can't thank those guys enough.
You are absolutely right that our sponsors are so important to us here. Kyle, congratulations on that win again tonight. I expect to see you back in victory lane more and more every week. You've been putting on a heck of a show, and you're doing a great job, so congratulations on that first place finish here tonight. Thank you again to All Phases Renovations for helping us put on this event here tonight and sponsoring the event, putting up money for drivers and letting them race for more than just pride and prestige. A little bit of money, it always makes things more interesting. Thank you to our organizers, Stafford Speedway, and Paul LaRue especially. He's been sort of spearheading this behind the scenes. Thank you to the team today, myself, Jeff McConey, Kyle Ricky, Bonsa Tufa, Sean Ambrose, and Dougie Beard. Thank you to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Be sure to shoot a follow on Twitter to stay up to date to all of us here. If you'd like to find out more about the Global Sim Racing channel, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head on over to the GSRC YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button as well, so that you don't miss a moment on the Global Sim Racing Channel. The next race is going to be Wednesday night for the fans, and next Friday for the event here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Every single Friday night we've had for the past 7 weeks so far. We also have more upcoming races listed for other series on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. On behalf of everyone here at the Global Sim Racing Channel and the Arute family, good night, everybody.